Losing time, I'm fading fast. I just wanna make it last. Try to let go of the past. I close my eyes, embrace the blast. Sleepless nights and headaches stack. Restlessness to hell and back.
With pretty much every brand right now racing to pack in massive batteries, it makes you wonder, would you still choose a phone that focuses on being ultra thin and lightweight, something branded as an Air model? I actually got hands-on with the iPhone Air before, and I have to admit, the slim profile and featherlight feel were seriously impressive. But things like the single speaker, smaller battery, wider grip, and eSIM-only support made me think twice, even though the price was surprisingly tempting. Now, this Honor Magic 8 Pro Air comes in swinging as a direct competitor, especially when it comes to design and thinness. But here's the difference. You get dual speakers, no mandatory eSIM, and a huge 5,500 milliamp hour battery. On paper, it already feels like it fixes many of the compromises we usually see in slim flagship phones. I've been daily driving this device for a while now, so today I'm sharing my real-world experience. A quick shout out to my tech partner from China for sharing this video. A big thank you for making this possible. Hey everyone, it's Maiky from techmaiky. If you love staying updated with the latest gadgets, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our exciting tech content. Mine is the morning color variant. I picked it mainly because I liked the same color style on the Honor Power. You can see the dimensions on screen, and honestly, both the width and thickness feel perfectly balanced, especially that ultra slim 6.1 millimeter body. No matter which Air style phone you're thinking about, I'd strongly suggest checking it out in person. Trust me, it feels even better in the hand than it looks on video. The metal frame and patterned back design follow a familiar visual language, so I won't dive too deep there. While it doesn't use the same unibody cold carving process as the Honor 500 Pro, the finishing details still feel premium and very much flagship level. Up front, you're getting a 6.3-inch LTPO display with up to 120 Hz refresh rate and a sharp 460 ppi. Screen clarity is excellent. Honor is known for eye care features, and everything you'd expect is here, including classic and comfort dimming modes. Colors look great, viewing angles are solid, and outdoor brightness is more than enough. Pair that with the ultra-slim 1.08mm symmetrical bezels on all four sides, and overall, I'm genuinely happy with this display. You also get GC glass on the front, 3D ultrasonic fingerprint scanning, dual-frequency GPS, quad-frequency BETO, and full IP68, IP69 dust and water resistance. Basically, every flagship box is checked. One pleasant surprise is quad SIM dual standby with eSIM support. The dual speakers don't hit quite as hard as the Magic 8 Pro's dual 1216 setup, but the mids and highs actually sound cleaner and more refined. As most of you already know, this phone is powered by the Dimensity 9500 chip. Honestly, instead of raw performance numbers, I was more curious about how Honor handles a Dimensity flagship again after such a long break, and especially how far they've pushed the camera this time. I've put the imaging specs on screen for you. Fitting a full triple camera system into such a slim body is seriously impressive engineering. Even the periscope telephoto lens made the cut, thanks to an ultra-thin periscope module. Both the main camera and the periscope also support SEPA 5.0 level stabilization, which is great to see. In real-world shooting, image detail is strong, and I personally like the natural-looking photo style. The results stay pretty close to what your eyes actually see, though the colors do come across slightly on the pale side. One small thing I noticed is that switching to telephoto sometimes triggers about a 1-second stabilization delay. And when it comes to night photography, the performance still holds up impressively well. This time around, portrait photography is clearly the star of the show, so let's jump straight into how it performs in real life. First up, it uses an array-style zoom flash, which helps spread light more evenly while also making it brighter and reaching farther. I actually took these shots on a heavily overcast day, so this is a great chance to see how it handles tough lighting. With the flash working together with Honor's algorithms, skin tones come out brighter and softer. Add in the background optimization, and the final result feels surprisingly polished. Let me know what you think. Now, what happens in a dry, low-light setting, or even against a pitch-black background? The phone manages to create this really cool CCD-style strobe effect that gives off a retro film camera vibe. The model who saw the photos was genuinely impressed and said it reminded her of classic Polaroid shots. Moving on to performance and heat management. Let's be honest, most people looking at slim and lightweight phones aren't buying them for hardcore gaming. I had some concerns at first about cooling and battery endurance, but in actual use, it performed way better than I expected. Sure, you can't expect long sessions of perfectly stable gameplay in something as demanding as Honkai Impact 3rd with maxed out graphics, but even then, power consumption stayed at just 4.09 watts with an average frame rate of 60.3 FPS. What really surprised me was the temperature. The hottest point on the body only hit 41.3 degrees Celsius. Even the 1% low frame rate managed 55.3 FPS. After half an hour, battery drop was only 7%, which is basically on par with a standard flagship. Honestly, that exceeded my expectations. I also spent a lot of time playing League of Legends Mobile. After 30 minutes at 120 FPS on high graphics, including both ARAM and ranked matches, battery usage was only 8%, and the average frame rate stayed locked at 120 FPS. Whether during intense teamfights or relaxed laning, everything felt consistently smooth. Now let's talk battery life. In my daily routine, I usually get around 5 to 6 hours of screen-on time. That's definitely a step down compared to my previous Honor Magic 8 Pro or Honor 500 Pro, but it still comfortably lasts a full day with moderate use. For a phone this slim, the charging speeds of 80 watt wired and 50 watts wireless. In my tight testing, it went from 10% to 100% in just 45 minutes. On the software side, the Honor EasyCard app is still very practical and easy to use. AI has become a major focus for Honor lately, and if you ever run into issues, you can even get video support through the physical AI button. I was a bit worried about how smoothly macOS 10.0 would run on the Dimensity chip, but in everyday use, system animations and stability feel no different from Snapdragon-powered phones. So here's my overall takeaway after using it as my main device. If you're like me and you're used to big battery phones or bulky flagship cameras with massive periscope lenses, the Honor Magic 8 Pro Air is going to feel refreshingly light. Your wrist will definitely thank you. The only thing you might think about more at night is battery level. But if you're curious about trying an Air-style flagship, this is genuinely a solid option. There really aren't many compromises here. If you want a truly lightweight flagship experience, this is an easy recommendation. Camera-wise, portrait performance is especially satisfying, and I honestly think a lot of women will love the results. It's clear that Honor put serious effort into this device, and I wouldn't be surprised if more brands start moving in this direction, pushing integration and engineering limits even further. That's it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.